I'm gonna try to go make some money. Um, and my favorite way to do that now is the Cayo Perico heist. And the reason it's my favorite way is because you can make more money doing this heist than you can in most other heists that I know of. And you can do it by yourself. So this is one of the first ones that I know of on this game that are a heist that you can do solo. So it can look like a lot. It can look like there's a lot to do at first, uh, but you don't have to do all the setups. Several of them are optional. There are a few that you do have to do, but like I said, a lot of them are optional. Um, so if you don't want to do them, you don't have to do them. And if you watch this, I can show you which ones I've found are the easiest to do. I forgot how to return my vehicle to storage. This is great. We're off to a great start. There we go. They changed all the settings with several updates ago, and I haven't played this in a while. So there might be some new small things like menu differences and other things that I haven't seen before. But if you play this pretty often, you probably don't have that problem. See, let's see how much money I have. I have $345,000. A little over $360,000. So I really need some money. And it now costs $100,000 to start a heist with Cayo Perico. It used to cost $25,000. That's a new thing. Alright, so first thing you're going to do is gather intel. And I always... You have to start it from the submarine, but it wants us to go to Paleto Cove, and that's pretty far away. So instead of driving the submarine there, what I do is I just... or instead of flying there, I'll just fast travel there in the submarine. That yellow dot's where we need to be, and I'll just make sure I put my fast travel somewhere nearby. So it looks like Paleto Forest is closest. So we're going to take the submarine, fast travel there, and then you don't have to worry about flying or taking too much time to get up there, because we're going from almost the bottom of the map to the top. And who wants something like that to happen? To happen. So, like I said, first thing we're going to do is scope out the island, which it can seem really difficult, and oh man, I forgot I have the Sparrow out. How are we going to do this? I'll just take the submarine, I guess. Scoping the island out for the Cayo Perico heist can seem so tedious, and like there's so much. I think the first time I did it, I would fail so many times because you have to avoid guards, you have to avoid cameras, all while searching for spots on the map that you may or may not know about. So it can be really difficult and kind of unappealing at first, because I remember the first time I did it, I did not think it was very cool. I was like, if it's going to take this, because it takes a long time and you're constantly dodging cameras and people, but the island's really huge, so if you know where to go, and you know like which path to take, how to avoid guards and everything, then it's really, really easy. So it just takes time to figure out where you need to go and how you need to move about the island to be able to scope out everything that you want to. But I've got it down to about, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 minutes. And that might seem like a while, but the first time I did it, I mean, it was during the pandemic. It's when everybody's in their houses, so we had all we had was time. But it took a friend of mine and I like several hours to do what now takes 10 or 15 minutes. So maybe not even that long. I'd say all said, from setup to heist completion, this takes about 35-40 minutes. Which and if you do it solo, you can get like, I think the most I've gotten is 3 million when there are a bunch of bonuses up. Now it's usually around between like 1 million and 1.3 million. I'd say is pretty average for a solo Cayo Perico heist, the way I do it. Maybe there's a better way that someone else knows of, or there are things that I'm missing. That could very, very well be the case. I'm always finding out new things about this game, but from what I know, uh-oh, I hope I don't get stuck up here. Come on. Come on, girl, you can make it. Why do dudes always talk to their vehicles like they're ladies? Come on, girl. Don't let me down. I did that once. I forgot to put coolant. Well, I didn't know I was supposed to put coolant in my car. I thought that was just for the winter. I thought you just put antifreeze in for the winter. I don't think you needed it in the summer. And for newer cars, maybe you don't now. But back then, I had a '87 Ford Escort. Definitely needed coolant. I didn't put it in there because I didn't know it needed it. All of a sudden my car starts overheating and I was like, come on girl, don't stop on the middle of the highway. But it didn't matter how much I talked to it, the car was gonna break down because I did not know how to own a vehicle. That's what, if I had parents in my life at the time, that would have been the first thing one of them would have told me, hey, make sure your car is coolant, make sure it has oil. Nobody told me that. I didn't know. That's why people need to take care of your kid. Look, if you're not going to be in your kids' lives, at least send them postcards and tell them to use at least tell them to use coolant in their cars. That would be helpful. That's what every parent like that gives up their kids, or like you surrender your children to the state, or you have them taken away. You should be required to write a 10-page booklet on what not to do. It does, like, you may not even have good advice. It may be horrible advice. You may be a terrible person who's never figured it out, but at least you can tell them what not to do. Hey kid, sorry I had to give you up. Look, I don't know how to be successful, but I know what not to do, and here are those things. And then you just put stuff in them that's helpful, like, don't rob a Dollar General you used to work at. Don't give your life savings to a friend from high school who sucks you into a multi-level marketing scheme. Like, don't, and I repeat, do not urinate outside. Public urination is against the law, even if you do know the person whose house you're visiting. And those are things they could put in the booklet, just so you can have some sort of guidance. The kids need some sort of guidance, even if it's what not to do. They need somebody to tell them, hey, don't F up the way I did. I feel like that makes sense. That'd be a great book, and I would have loved to read that. And maybe some of the mistakes I was going to make would have aligned with the mistakes they made. People repeat the same patterns, man, of their parents. They might have kept me out of a lot of trouble. My birth mother probably would have put stuff in there like, don't pawn your instruments or heirlooms. From what I know of her, she had a penchant for pawning family heirlooms and important instruments and, like, you know, things that you normally hold on, that a normal person would hold on to, and be like, I'm never getting rid of this. That's the one thing you see in the movies where somebody's like, that's the one thing I won't sell. I'll never sell this ring my grandmother gave to me. And then there's a scene that's like so dramatic because they finally sell the last thing they're holding, like the one thing of value that they have. And with it comes all the memories behind that one thing. Yeah, it wasn't that dramatic for her. She would just sell that shit. Oh, stuff. You just sell that stuff. She didn't care. Which, maybe that's a good thing, Maybe it's cool that